You ever have that feeling where you're all caught up in self? You feel disconnected from the world, you're sad, depressed, angry, whatever it is. They're never good feelings. I'm usually not like that when I'm with other people. I'm usually like that when I'm by myself, disconnected. It's very important to be connected with other people if I am going to have a good life. But sometimes I just don't want to talk to them. Sometimes I just want to isolate. I want to stew. Stew in that feeling of, it's the worst day of my life. Feeling like I have all these resentments. Feeling like it was just not working out. Feeling like I'm a victim. Whatever it is. It's just not a good feeling. I know that about myself, and I've learned that over the course of my life, that the most important thing for me to do is to get connected with other human beings. The most successful people in the world have large connections of people. They know many people. If you're going to be a politician, you have to connect with many people to get elected. You know people everywhere. If you're going to be a successful businessman, you have to be connected to many people. You just don't do that in isolation. If you're going to be a successful healthcare professional, it can't be just you and one patient. It has to be you and the patient, the referral sources, the ancillary people that are involved, other healthcare providers, maybe a neurologist, maybe an ENT, maybe a psychologist. All these people are important in the laboratory to build your businesses. So human connection is important. I talk to a lot of young people that say, I want to get busier. I go, then get out there and connect. They go, I don't know those people. Well, we all sort of know each other. There's a philosophy from I think it's a play that was written many years ago called Change. It's called 6 Degrees of Separation. What that means is that we are 6 relationships away from anybody in the world. So if I want to meet somebody in a small town in the south of France that I don't know, I'm probably only 6 people away. I came up with a little analogy. I actually asked ChatGPT. I said, give me an example from my own life. They go, well, you know Danny Meyer because he wrote a blurb for your book, Treating People, Not Patients. Well, Danny Meyer knows Will Guidara, who had a restaurant called 11 Madison Park. Will Guidara was also friends with the chef there, Daniel Hume, and they once did dinner parties for famous people, the 3rd degree. One of those famous people that they threw a dinner party was Jay-Z. And Jay-Z is married to Beyonce. So I'm only 5 degrees away from 5 relationships for knowing Beyonce. I've never met her, but I probably could meet her by going down that tree. And the same is true for anything. It could be true for President Clinton. Now, I actually know somebody that knows President Clinton. I've never met him, but I'm only 3 relationships away. Donald Trump, I'm only 2 relationships away from there because I know my college roommate married his secretary that worked for him 45 years ago. So I'm only 4 relationships away from Donald Trump. So almost everybody in the world, I'm almost 4 or 5 or 6 relationships at the most away. That's sort of cool because that means we have a huge network out there. By connecting with more people, I connect not just with the people I'm connecting to, but their network. And their network connects to somebody else. It's a huge web. I talk about the aspen tree. Now, the aspen tree is the largest organism in the world. We think of these beautiful trees out in Colorado that are on a ski slope. They're going to be beautiful aspens, but what you don't know is that they all have an interconnected root system that supports them. The largest grove of aspen trees is in a place called Pando, Utah. There are 47,000 trees, 47,000 with one root system, and they have almost 12 tons of weight. The largest organism in the world is an aspen tree. 47,000 of them connected. We're connected to 8 billion people. We are 5 to 6 degrees away from 8 billion people in the world. You don't need to go on social media to connect to them either. You just get in there in your relationships in your town. You say hello to the bus driver. When you're in Starbucks, you talk to the barista. When you go to the restaurant, you talk to the person in the restaurant. Now, the restaurant owners don't know that they are on my favorite list. I have a list in my office of my favorite restaurants in Fairfield, Norwalk, Westport, Bridgeport, my surrounding community. So when new people come to town and they go, do you have a good restaurant? I just print it out for them. The restaurant owners don't even know that. And I've missed a really golden opportunity because I had dinner 2 nights ago at Martel's, a little French bistro in Fairfield. It's owned by a guy named Marty Levine. Marty Levine and I have known each other for 40 years, but I never told him he was on my list of favorite restaurants. Many people go to his restaurant and eat there because I have given them a list and his restaurant's there. He didn't even know that until 2 nights ago when I told him. He goes, where am I on the list? He wanted to know. I thought that was sort of funny. And I said, you're on the list. I don't rate the list, but you're on the list. So he was getting people from me without knowing it. That was like 1 degree of separation. And I've known Marty for 40 years, but I never really talked to him. I also know his sister who's a dentist and his father who was a dentist. So there's a lot of connectivity there between the two of us that he didn't know about. And I was there with my daughter. And my daughter, who's also a dentist, was sitting with me. I go, have you ever met Marty? Now, she's been in Marty's restaurant probably 30 times, but never met him because Marty is not a human connector. He runs a great restaurant, but he's not out there really connecting with people. So I called him over and he spent 30 minutes at our table talking to my daughter, another connection. And guess what will happen? Maybe Marty is going to become a patient of my daughter. Maybe Marty will refer people to my daughter. Maybe my daughter will refer more people to there because of that connection. So what was the mistake I made? I never told Marty he was on my list, because if I told him he was on my list, he might have said to me, he goes, you know, maybe you should see Mike Sonic as a dentist. Now I have the luxury of not needing new patients, because I've been in practice for 40 years and have a lot of connections. It's already busy, so I'm not doing that. But if it's early in my career, I should have done that. I should go to all of those restaurants and say, hey, you're on my list, because that would be another stronger connection. And by the way, I wrote a book called Treating People, Not Patients, that you probably know. It's based upon hospitality. It's based upon the hospitality promulgated by Danny Meyer in his restaurants. And it's all about human connection and giving over-the-top customer service in a hospitable environment. And that's what we do in our practice. We do it in our practice. But it's important to do it in the greater world. Okay? You're always building your practice. You're always building your life. You're always doing greater connections out there. Having those great connections is going to make you a better person, going to make the world a better place. Because if we were all loving and kind to each other, we wouldn't have any wars. We wouldn't have any, we wouldn't have any anger in the streets as we see. People wouldn't be doing that. We go, hey, we're all human beings. We're all connected, like the aspen trees. Those aspen trees, there's 47,000 of them. They all get along because they all come from the same root system. By the way, we as human beings do too, on a spiritual level. Anyway, be the gift. Hopefully that was interesting for you. I love this topic. I love connecting with other people, and I see how it works in the world. It's pretty cool. Have a great day, everybody.